So as you guys can tell, I love video games. They are definitely my passion, and I truly think there's nothing better than getting immersed into a video game with a great story, with great characters, fun gameplay. Hell, even playing with your friends is awesome. Playing a multiplayer game with the boys late as hell is one of the best experiences. I played a lot of games over the years, but what are my favorite games of all time? I started to think about this, and it was extremely hard for me to decide. There are so many games that are so good and I love dearly that trying to put a list together was insanely difficult. I've actually been wanting to do this video for a while now, and now that we've hit over 100 subs, let's go! I think now is a good time to talk about the games that help define me. These are all my opinion. There might be games that don't make the list that you think are amazing, and there might be games on the list you don't like, and that's fine. These are my favorite games. I do have one rule for this video though. I can't have multiple games from the same franchise on this list. For example, if I put a Sonic game on the list, I can't put another Sonic game on the list. I mainly did this so the list isn't mostly from a certain game series, and it's more diverse. So you can also call this my favorite games from my favorite franchises. There's so many games that I love that just didn't make the list, so I'm gonna list off some honorable mentions. Pretty much all Kingdom Hearts games. Neo Replicant version 1.22474487139. Yes, that is the actual title of this game. Borderlands 3, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Sonic Generations, Sonic Mania, and a lot of other Sonic games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Batman Arkham City, both Insomniac Spider-Man games, Dead Space, Pokemon Black and White, Terraria, Crash 3, Spyro the Dragon, Smash Ultimate, and there's so many more and I can go on and on. But the games I'm about to talk about hold a special place in my heart. So, with that, let's finally get into it. Starting off this list with number 8 is Final Fantasy VII. Now, it's kind of cliche to have this as my favorite Final Fantasy game, but in my opinion, I really think that this is the best in the series. I love the story of Cloud and Avalanche. It is extremely good with amazing characters. I love how in the beginning it tells the story of basically a corrupt business corporation and trying to take them down, and it just evolves into this fucking massive ass story. I love the arts each character goes on, especially Cloud. The shit this man went through is actually fucking heartbreaking, and his character growth, and by the end of the game, is just fucking amazing. I love this character. The supporting cast is great too. I love Tifa's relationship with Cloud, as her acting as his friend, Barrett the loudmouth that actually has a big heart, and the leader of Avalanche. All of them are just great. One of the most iconic video game villains of all time, Sephiroth, is amazing here. A lot of people play Final Fantasy VII for Sephiroth. Hell, you don't even need to play Final Fantasy VII to know who Sephiroth is. The frame of him standing in the fire and just walking off, that is one of the most iconic video game moments of all time. His backstory and how he became the way he is great and actually just depressing. I love the themes the story is telling here, and as we get older, the themes just hits harder on a personal level. The gameplay is great, being a turn-based JRPG. The materia system is fantastic and can allow you to do many amazing builds, and it's very flexible. This game has one of the best soundtracks in video game history. There are so many songs that I love so damn much. I will say though, one of the things I don't like, some of the mini games are just not good at all, don't age well at all. But overall, Final Fantasy VII is one of the best games, if not one of the most important games of all time. This game really made JRPGs like pop off. I love this game so much. I can't wait for part 3 of the remake series, and I just hope that they end it off with a bang. Coming in at number 7 is Sonic Adventure 2. Yes, just like a lot of people, I think Sonic Adventure 2 is his best game. I first played this game when the Adventure games came to the PS3. I think this game has arguably the best Sonic stages in the franchise. The adventure formula in this game is the best Sonic has played in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, the boost style for the most part is really good, and you can't go wrong with the classic style of Sonic. But in my opinion, I think this is just the best way to play Sonic. All the playable characters feel great here. In Adventure 1, there was like 3 characters I didn't really like playing at all, but in this game, they are great. Obviously, the best ones are Sonic and Shadow. I love all their stages so much, especially City Escape. Being one of the best starts to a video game of all time. It's hard to top what a City Escape did. I do wish Shadow had more stages though, but a lot of them are really good. But overall, their stages are good and encourage speed. Knuckles Tails and Rouge's stages aren't too bad. I know people don't like these stages, but for me, they were always just chill. Except for Rouge's last stage, that shit can go fuck off. I will say the tracker in this game sucks balls, and there's one thing that Adventure 1 handles way better. Tails and Eggman stages are too bad. For Tails, I do miss his gameplay style from Adventure 1 because I think it better suits the character, but for Eggman, it's great. With this being his first playable debut, I think he controls very well, and his stages are pretty good. The characters get upgrades just like Adventure 1, and these make the stages way more fun to go through, especially when you're going through them again. When you have all these upgrades, they're really fun. The story is one of his most enjoyable ones. It does have some dark elements, but I think it handles the dark elements well while not being too edgy. This is the first time Shadow was introduced, and I love his character. I generally think he's one of Sonic's best characters when he's written well. His face-off with Sonic is one of the most iconic moments in gaming history. His sacrifice at the end of the game is just great. Yes, it's fucking stupid how they mistaken Shadow for Sonic, but other than that, I think the story is pretty enjoyable. The soundtrack is pretty good, but it's not one of my favorites from the franchise. Sonic just has so many better soundtracks. This one, while still being good, just doesn't compare to some of his better ones, even though I still really like this music. The main theme of the game, Live and Learn, is debatably the best song of the entire franchise. For me, it's either Live and Learn or Endless Possibility from Unleashed. The game isn't perfect though. The bosses are fucking laughable. The character battles are pathetically easy and require literally no brain cells. The Bio Lizard boss of Shadow makes me want to throw my computer at the wall. But the final boss with both of the Super Hedgehogs is great. The kart racing segment in this game is complete trash and I hate it. The controls are garbage. I honestly don't understand how they thought they could get away with how bad this controls. Overall, this game is pretty damn good. Sonic as a character in this franchise means so much to me, and personally, I think Adventure 2 is the game that got it the best. Coming in at number 6 is Xenoblade Chronicles. I first played this game back on the 3DS. I liked it, but I sucked ass because I didn't understand the combat system since I was just a dumb kid. Then I played it on Wii and I fell in love with the game. I'm going to be talking about the definitive edition for the game that released for the Switch because I do think it's the best version of the game. As soon as I started the game and I saw the opening cutscene, I just knew that this was going to be an epic game. The Titans called Bionis and Mechonis, they were at a battle with one another until they both struck a deadly blow and just stopped fighting. Over time, life started to grow on both Titans. On the Bionis, natural life grew like humans, homs, and massive landscapes, and on the Mechonis, mechanical life grew, known as the Mechon. The Homs and the Mechon are in the war. The Mechon are shown to be more powerful than the Homs, but the hero Dumban has the sword known as the Monado, which is the only weapon that can kill the Mechon. This is when we are introduced to Shulk, a young quiet kid who studies the Monado and chills with his friends Fiora and Rhyme. One day the Mechon attack the colony. Shulk uses the Monado and gains the ability to see into the future. This throws everybody off because only Dunban was able to use the Monado. The Mechon end up killing Fiora, so Shulk and Ryan go on a journey to get revenge on the Mechon. That is the simplest way I can describe this story. It sounds very basic, but I swear to God, it gets so complex and extremely good later on. This is easily one of the best stories I've personally experienced in a video game. The characters are all extremely good. I love Shulk so much as a character. His growth throughout the game is fucking amazing. His hatred towards the Mechon and his growth over the game as he continues on his path. God, it's so fucking good. And the party in general is one of the best parties in any JRPG in my opinion. And it's like the dynamic of the party is amazing and you actually grow to care about everyone in the party. The heart-to-hearts throughout the world help expand on each character. And by the end of the game, like, I actually ended up giving a shit about these guys. And the open world in this game is one of the best I've experienced in the game. This world is so fucking massive and it's real gorgeous. I just love exploring the worlds by running around and doing stupid shit like just battling, and it's awesome. The affinity chart is amazing because it actually makes doing side quests like meaningful and it adds to the chart. There's just an epic feel to the game. When you're just running around taking in how big this world is, like it just feels epic. You constantly go higher and higher on the Bionis. You're actually like climbing Titan and it's awesome. The Monado is one of the most iconic weapons in video game history. I love its design and what Shulk can do with it. I even like the upgrade it gets later on in the game. Not this one though, this one sucks. The combat for this game is one of the most unique I've ever played in a video game. Each character has an auto attack, which doesn't do that much damage, but after a while, your arts recharge. These can do multiple things like increase damage from behind, or slow an enemy, or heal the party, buff the party. It can do many different things. You can have 3 characters in your party, and they all have their unique play styles in the game, and they can all do great things. It's cool to experiment which party works the best. I usually main Shulk because he's like a glass cannon and pretty much can do multiple things, and he's by far the most useful in the entire game because of the Monado arts. But pretty much all the characters are great and can do insane damage. And once you build up your party gauge, you can do a chain attack. Basically, these can do crazy damage to an opponent by building up chain damage by using the same types of arts. I love this system. It relies on a good party setup, and with that you can do insane damage. You also have visions of the future. You have a chance to save a party member. The combat can be extremely hard to master, but once you do, it's so fun to play. The soundtrack for this game is extremely good. Xenoblade has one of the best soundtracks in a video game in my opinion, and that's one thing to know about me. If a game has a good soundtrack, it makes the game even better. A mediocre game can be bumped up higher if the game has a good soundtrack. That's how important the soundtrack is. Like, there's so many tracks in this where I just stop, pause the game, and just listen to the music. It's so fucking good. As much as I love this game so much, it isn't perfect. The first thing I don't like is Charlotte. I love her as a character, but playing as her is extremely fucking frustrating. She's the healer, and that's pretty much all she does. She is useful when you first get her in the game, but near endgame, she isn't going to be the most useful because there's other characters who have healing arts, and her damage isn't mind-blowing. You can do decent damage, but it's not the greatest. The next thing I don't like is how obvious some of the twists are. Now, I think there are some twists that work pretty well, and there's some twists, it's not that I don't like them, it's kind of obvious. Like, there's a twist with a character in the game, and the game basically tells you, yeah, he's gonna betray you. Every time he's on screen, I'm like, this motherfucker, he's onto something. I feel like they could have handled this better, but it's still a good twist, and once, like, the twist revealed in game, it was a great moment in the game. And with the definitive edition, there's an additional story segment called Future Connected. It's okay. It was originally cut content from the original release on the Wii, so it's cool that they brought it here, but it isn't the greatest. Like, it isn't bad, but it's nowhere near the quality of the base game. It's an epilogue of the game, and it gives one of the main characters, Melia, more closure, but I can see why this was cut from the original game. Overall, I fucking love this game to pieces. Yes, I do love Xenoblade Chronicles 2 a lot, but that game has certain things about it that just fucking frustrate me. It is a flawed game, but I do love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I just think it just doesn't top the first game. I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 yet, but whenever I do, I am very excited to play it. I think this game deserves more love, so I highly recommend this game if you're looking for a unique JRPG. Coming in at number 5 is Persona 5 Royal. Now, Persona 5, when it first released, was my first Persona game I've played, and I fucking fell in love with it. I loved it so much that it made me want to play the other games in the series, but I never did. I don't know, I just never got the chance to play the other games in the series. I hear that they're some of the best games out there, but I just haven't played them. And then Royal came out. I ended up buying it because I loved 5 so much, and there was new content and a lot of quality of life updates, so I just had to play it. I ended up loving Royal way more than the original release, which I already love to pieces, and now whenever I want to play Persona 5, 100% of the time I always pick Royal, because it's hands down the better version, in my opinion, of course. The story of Persona 5 is extremely good. Even with its long runtime, I never feel the pace slow down. The main character in the game, Ren, is a transfer student due to having a criminal record. He tried to save a woman being assaulted by a drunk politician. Using his power, he puts Ren on probation for a year. When he's on his way to his new school, he and a student, Ryuji, are transported to a castle that replaces their school. They find that the ruler of the castle, Kamoshida, trying to execute the boys. This is when Ren awakens his persona. In this game, a persona comes from someone being wronged or taken advantage of and wanting to rebel against the ones who wronged them. I fucking love when a character awakens a persona in this game. They literally take the mask off they wear around others and let the inner rebels show and living as their true selves. And the characters get amazing drip, like, god damn, these boys look amazing. In this game, you can only use your persona in the metaverse. The metaverse is a place where people with strong enough desires to manifest palaces. These people are usually people who hide their crimes from the world, which Kamoshida is a criminal. He is a fucking bastard. You, as the leader of the Phantom Thieves, have the power to steal the treasure of that palace. When you do, that person has a change of heart and confesses to their crimes. I fucking love the idea for this game. The idea of being a rebel and trying to expose lowly people for their crimes is fucking awesome. And I loved exploring every palace in the game. Yes, even this one. They are all unique and badass to explore. I was always excited to explore a new palace, and all of the characters are fantastic. All the Phantom Thieves are amazing characters, and I love doing all of the confidants in this game and seeing their relationship grow. I grew to really love each member of the team. All of the confidants I really enjoyed doing. Each character I liked seeing their arc and getting perks for completing them. That's the one thing I really like. You get perks for doing the confidants, and they can really benefit you in battle or just in everyday life. So even if you don't like a certain confidant in the game, it's worth doing because the perks are really good. And the stronger your bonds are with that character, it strengthens that arcana, allowing you to make stronger personas. The idea of the bonds you have making your persona stronger is amazing. I just love the themes and messages that this game decides to tell. Now, it's nowhere near as dark as Persona 3, but I love how it sometimes isn't afraid to get a little disturbing. I love the game's art style and aesthetic. With how gorgeous each of the palaces are, it makes the game style memorable. This game's music is so damn good, dude. There are so many tracks that I love so much in this game. Pretty much the entire soundtrack is amazing. Even the tracks Royal added are amazing here. The game is a turn-based JRPG, and in my opinion, it's the best turn-based game out there. I feel like that the turn-based formula is perfected in this game. You can have multiple personas for Joker and have each of them prioritize a different thing, and each of your party members can do crazy damage. And if you have certain perks, they can actually save your ass if you're in a bad spot. And all the showtimes Royal added in the game are awesome. They are visually cool and they can do pretty good damage. Thankfully, they give you ammo for your gun after each encounter. Unlike Persona 3 where you shoot yourself in the head, this game you shoot the motherfuckers yourself. In the original game you only had a certain amount of ammo, and if you use it all, you don't have any more until you leave the palace, which sucked. I'm glad they changed that in Royal. I legit think this game is almost perfect. But there was one thing I don't like. Fuck the Akumura boss fight. It takes way too damn long and is annoying as hell. Other than that, this game's amazing, and I strongly recommend it. I know the most common answer for the best Persona game is 4, but I've only played Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. I do own 4 Golden on PC, and whenever I do play it, I am really excited because I really want to know what the hype is about with Persona 4. But damn, Persona 5, I just love that game so much. Coming in at number 4 is Resident Evil 4. This is my favorite survival horror game of all time. Final Fantasy VII is one of the most important games of all time. It made JRPGs like pop off, but this is also one of the most important games ever created. A lot of games were inspired by this game's over-the-shoulder gameplay. It's actually insane how many games took inspiration from this. This game tells the story of Leon S. Kennedy trying to find the president's missing daughter, Ashley. He comes across a village where all the residents of the village are monsters called Ganados, trying to kill him. With this, one of the greatest start to a video game of all time happens.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
So he gets infected with the virus the Ganados have, so he has to find a way to find a cure and take Ashley home. That's it. This game's story is very dumb, like very, very dumb, but the game knows that. This game is very self-aware of how silly it is and just fucking goes with it. In my opinion, this game has the perfect balance of survival horror and just action. Like, it has the horror elements with the bosses like the U3 and the Verdugo, while having amazing action gameplay and fucking up these Ganados. Leon feels amazing to control in this game. The gunplay in this game is fucking awesome. This motherfucker got an upgrade since his PS1 days. And I love using the melee attack and fucking these guys up like a complete badass. You do massive damage with this roundhouse kick. And the Merchant is one of the best video game characters of all time. I don't give a shit. He just shows up and it's like,
got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
God, I love this shop. There's so many different weapons to buy and many different parts to get when you fully upgrade a weapon. It encourages replayability. But these enemies, man, I remember as a kid being fucking petrified of the chainsaw guy. Whenever that chainsaw revved up, instant chills down my spine. How he fucking one-shots you? Yeah, these tornadoes fuck you up. Once you die to them, it's like, God damn it, you pendejo! Especially when the Plagas comes out and they really fuck you up. God, the Regenerators. Probably the scariest enemies in Resident Evil, with how weird the sounds are they make and the way they move, and how when you first encounter them, it's like you can't even fucking kill them until you get the thermoscope and you have to destroy the parasites in their body. Oh my god. Great. Leon as a character is awesome. He doesn't have a grand arc or anything. He's just a fucking badass, fucking everybody up and cracking jokes. And he's actually funny. Most of his jokes aren't cringe at all.
I let our miserable insects out for some exercise down in the sewer.
Thanks. That should keep me company, 'cause boredom kills me.
This is the best version of Leon, hands down. There are 3 main areas of the game: the village, the castle, and the military island. And they're all amazing and memorable. Admittedly, the military island is probably my least favorite, but I still enjoy going through it. The village and the castle are fantastic. They encourage exploration by giving you treasure, so it's awesome. The game isn't perfect though. The most infamous aspect of this game is Ashley. Yeah, she sucks a lot. She is constantly screaming and yelling like, "Bitch, shut the hell up!" Also, the QTEs in this game don't really age that well. On your first playthrough, they might be cool, but after that, they kinda become annoying. But overall, damn, this game's a damn masterpiece. It holds up extremely well. The legacy and impact this game has needs to be respected. Hell, the remake is fucking amazing too. I love this game so much. If you haven't played it, what the hell are you doing? You need to play this game. Now, we are at the top 3. This is where things start to get really hard. But coming in at number 3, Borderlands 2. This game means so much to me. I think this is the game that I have the most playtime in. I constantly go back to this game, and in my opinion, it's the best co-op game of all time. The amount of times me and the boys have gone back to this game is fucking insane. The story is that you play as a vault hunter and you have to stop Handsome Jack from awakening the warrior. For how simple the story sounds, it's actually pretty good, and Handsome Jack is one of the best video game villains of all time. He is constantly taunting you and making you laugh and just being a dick. In the early stages, he makes fun of you and he's legit funny as hell. That's a problem with 3. Even though I love 3, I fucking hate the twins. They aren't funny or intimidating. They take the comedy too far and they don't develop them as villains. But Handsome Jack as a villain is fucking awesome. But in the later stages of the game, you really start to annoy him. He does some fucked up shit and he isn't joking around with you anymore, so you have to take this guy down. All the characters in this game are pretty good. Claptrap being that annoying robot we all love to hate. The Crimson Raiders are an amazing group, and all the Vault Hunters here are amazing. They are all really fun to play and can do really crazy builds. My favorite being Zero. I love his damage with his insane bore, but all of them are great to play. They all have their unique playstyle that will suit you. Do you like doing insane damage? Maybe play Zero or Salvador and just completely break the fucking game. Do you like playing a melee character or a high risk, high reward character? Maybe try out Krieg. Do you like grenade damage builds? Play Axton. Like, there's a class for everybody in this game and it's awesome. The guns in this game are fucking crazy. That's the thing Borderlands is known for, just insane guns. You have crazy guns that can do crazy damage and it's amazing. And it's one of the main reasons I come back to this game so much. Like, doing that grind for those god roll runs in your gun is always satisfying, even though you might lose your sanity. Another thing about 3 I don't really like is that the guns don't feel as satisfying to get. In Borderlands 2, you get the gun and you're good. If you want to go above and beyond, you can get god roll. But in 3, not only do you have to get the gun and that's good, but you also got to worry about anointments on the fucking gun and make sure that the anointment is good. And if you want to go even further beyond, you gotta make sure the parts on the gun are really good. Like, it just doesn't feel as satisfying to me. Endgame content is always cool with the DLC and the raid bosses, but probably the main reason why I love this game so much is co-op. It's so fun going through this game with a buddy or especially a full crew and taking down bosses and going through the story. It's some of the best moments I've had in any video game. This game is how I met some of my closest friends. It's thanks to this game I met some of my best friends, which I talk to this very day, and just for that I will always love this game for that. This game isn't perfect. OP levels suck balls and they're not fun at all, and it does kind of get repetitive by your third playthrough with a character, but I don't care. I know I will eventually do another full character playthrough again because I love the game that much. Coming in at number 2 is Nier Automata. Now, funny enough, I didn't play this game when it initially released. I was interested in the game for reasons, but I never ended up playing the game. And then Nier Replicant version 1.enter my password came out in 2020, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out. I ended up loving that game so much that it became my favorite game of that year. I thought the game was damn near perfect, and it made me want to play Automata, so that's what I did. And holy shit, when I first played through it, I was speechless at how much I ended up loving the game. And I was kicking myself in the ass for not playing it when it initially dropped. The story for this game is so fucking good. It tells the story of a post-apocalyptic Earth where aliens have invaded. Humanity has fled to the moon for safety. Yoha is a group of androids that battle the machines left behind to try to make Earth safe again. You play as 2B, a combat unit, and you work with 9S, a stand unit, to try to stop the machines and learn the dark truths of this world. It's extremely hard to put into words why this game is very good and what this game means to me personally, but I will try my best. This game's themes and messages are so fucked up and dark, and I love them. I would be here all day if I were to try to fully explain each individual theme message that the game portrays, but let's just say this game made me question my own existence. Just like Replicant, this game is a very, very depressing story with great characters. I will admit, this is one of the last times I actually cried for a video game. The characters in this game, god damn, they're fucking amazing. You would initially think that you wouldn't care for 2B because she's just a hot android that fucks everything up. But the story arc and the pain she has to put through makes her one of the most compelling video game characters of all time, in my opinion. 9S was initially a character I thought would just be a comic relief character, but I swear, this man at the end of the game is a completely different character from how he is at the start. The pain and all the things he learns about this world completely breaks this man, and I felt so bad for this fucking character at the end of the game. He probably has it the worst in the game. A2 is another character that's amazing. The shit she had to deal with back in the day and learned in her time, and by the end the game comes along and she's just a completely different character at the end. Like, these three characters and their arts and what they go through literally made me question my existence on this planet that we call Earth. They are all so deep and such depressing characters that in my opinion barely any other video game character comes close to how good these characters are. And the machines in this game made me feel something for once in my life. They just start off as just these enemies to kill, but the more you play the game, the more you don't want to fucking fight these guys. The more you feel bad for them. Like, yeah, they do fucked up shit, but at the same time, you see where they're coming from, and it's just fucking depressing. There's Pascal and his group of machines that just gave up on fighting and decided to live peacefully. I love Pascal. I wish we got to see more of him in the game and his group. The world in this game is good to explore. It isn't the greatest open world of all time, but the areas that have been destroyed by the machines are beautiful, honestly. My favorite probably being the amusement park they go to. This game's music is so fucking good, dude. This is my second favorite soundtrack of all time. Pretty much every track in this game is fantastic. The game's music is so damn good that you can listen to it even without playing the game and still fucking love it. I've tested this out on some of the people that I know, and they said the same thing. This game's music is really fucking good. The bosses are fun to play. They're not the greatest bosses, but they're pretty good. The three main characters all have their unique fighting styles. 2B is the standard character, able to use the heavy attack and a light attack. She can use 2 swords. All the characters can use their pods like a gun and also use a special with it. 9S only gets 1 weapon, but he's able to hack into enemies and kill them that way. To be honest, as much as I love his character, he is my least favorite to play. Out of the 3 main gameplay styles of the 3 main characters, his is just my least favorite. A2 has this ability just to go absolutely fucking insane and do crazy damage, but if you aren't careful, you can actually die from this. So it's a high risk, high reward, and I like that. All the characters are unique to play, and it makes those playthroughs more unique. You have to play the game 5 times to get the full story, and I'm honestly okay with that. In Replicant, it was kind of a small issue because it did get repetitive because you're mainly playing the same character for most of the game. In Automata, it isn't that big a deal because you play as more than one character, so it's more unique. Honestly, I don't have negatives with this game. I think this game is an absolute masterpiece. I highly recommend you play it. And if you do decide to play it, expect to cry and question your own existence. But coming in at number 1, to no one's surprise, is Kingdom Hearts 2. You guys all saw this coming because I said it a million times, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite video game of all time. I had to restrict myself to only 1 game per franchise due to Kingdom Hearts, because if I didn't, more than half of this fucking list would have been Kingdom Hearts games. I legitimately think this game is a masterpiece. Pretty much everything in this game is perfect. The combat is the best I've ever experienced. It's so satisfying to master. Sora feels extremely powerful and way better in the first game. The drive forms are the most badass forms in any game, period. The limits and reaction commands are so badass and feel great to use. The bosses are all fantastic, fun to fight. I love all these characters so much. Sora being my favorite character in any form of media. Like, he's just my favorite character of all time. Like, the introduction of Roxas as a character is awesome. I fucking love Roxas. All the worlds are amazing except you. The story is amazing and continues the lore in amazing ways. Everything about Kingdom Hearts 2 I love. It's hard to put in exact words why I love this game to pieces, but I fucking love this game. I never get bored of this game at all, and constantly replay this game over and over and over again and have a blast. Every time there's a new re-release, I buy it just so I have a reason to replay this fucking game. The amount of love I have for this game is actually like kinda crazy. This game has gotten me through my darkest moments. I can't put into words why I love this game. I did rant about it, but that's why Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite video game of all time. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me gushing over these games, and I want to say truly thank all of you guys who are subscribed and watch my stupid videos. It truly does mean a lot to me. The grind will still continue though. We are not stopping here, boys. List off your favorite games of all time in the comments below. Are some of your favorite video games of all time on this list? Or do you think there's games in these franchises that you think are better? Leave it in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.